Hi everyone, and welcome to this week's Future Net Zero Insight with me, Kiran Bose. And I'm delighted to say that today I'm joined by Thom, who's the CEO of Electric Car Scheme. How are you doing?
Hey, nice to meet you, Kiran.
Nice to meet you too. So this week is EV and charging week on the site, and that means that we're looking to shine a light on things that want to sort of showcase why we should be going electric, what that means, and the reasons behind that, really. So just wanted to really start off by, if you could explain what you guys do, your role, and what Electric Car Scheme is.
Yeah, sure. So I guess at the Electric Car Scheme, we're all about getting more people into electric cars and helping us transition to net zero. I guess we believe inherently every person in the UK wants to help the country move to net zero. But often there's things in the way that stop them from doing that. And in the case of electric cars, that's all about, well, they're quite expensive still. While they might be greener, it's not necessarily accessible for everyone. And what we found was there are government incentives in place to help people make that transition, make it cheaper. And the electric car scheme is all about bringing that to people. So what we do is very similar to Cycle to Work. The electric car scheme allows you to pay for the electric car, typically a lease car, out of your salary before tax. And that means you save anywhere between 30 and 60% on that electric car, makes it much more affordable. Hopefully that means we can get more and more people into electric cars much sooner than they otherwise be able to.
So what you're saying then is, if I'm the employee in question, I'm paying for the electric car in the salary I would have got, but that would have been taxed. So actually, I'm not paying, or am I paying a portion of it? If you could explain that.
Yeah, so the way it works is through salary sacrifice, like you said. So your employer would lease a car, and you would agree to lower your salary in the month, your gross salary, by the same amount of that lease cost. So your employer doesn't have a cost to bear.
Right.
So instead of that salary going into your bank account after being taxed, that's now going towards the car. So another way to think about it is the money you would have paid to the government in terms of tax and national insurance is now going towards your car payments, which means your net take-home pay is only 50-60% of what it would have been if you had leased the car directly.
But I guess that means that if you are someone that was hopeful of picking up an EV, but it's too much for you, the problem that most people have at the moment is when you want to buy electric, you have to buy new because the market simply isn't there for secondhand yet. So I guess that would mean that you get a cheaper option and it will incentivize more employees to take up that choice then.
Yeah, so what we see is with the government incentive is it makes the electric car much more affordable than it would have been. So like you said, new electric cars are still quite expensive. With the electric car scheme, they become 30 to 60% cheaper. So that doesn't mean they're super cheap, but it does mean they're much more affordable than they would have been. Yeah. As soon as there are secondhand cars on the market and secondhand car leases are available, that same incentive would apply to second-hand cars, and they would also be cheaper by the same amount.
In terms of that then, we've obviously seen that gas prices are really high, and I guess that means that more people would be looking at electric cars. Is that something that you found in your research?
Obviously, with the electric car scheme, the car itself becomes cheaper, but also an electric car compared to a petrol or diesel car is typically cheaper to run. So the maintenance and service costs tend to be about 30 to 40% lower. And the fuel costs have tended to be quite a lot cheaper as well. So this time last year, per mile driven, the cost of electricity, if you're charging a car at home, was about 4 times cheaper than the equivalent you would have spent on petrol. Now, with the energy prices going up and down quite a lot at the moment, that's changed. So with the energy price cap where it was, say, a month ago, the electric car was still about 50% cheaper, but not 4 times cheaper. And I guess with the Liz Truss announcement last week with the energy caps, that will remain the case. So, the fuel cost will be about half the price compared to a petrol or diesel equivalent on a per mile basis.
Of course, electricity is also rising with gas, so that makes sense. But it is still remaining cheaper then?
It's definitely still remaining cheaper. As I said, it's about half the price. And obviously, it's also much greener because the electricity sources come from renewable places, and petrol and diesel, by definition, don't.
So could you just explain a bit more your side of things? So you would work with a company to help their employees take up electric vehicles. So is that basically the gist of it?
Yeah, that's right. So we focus on small, medium, and large businesses we would set up the electric car scheme for that business and its employees, and then work with the employees to help them choose the right car, the right lease for them. And we make it super simple for the business to get involved. So there's no cost for offering the electric car scheme to your employees. The employees get all the benefit. There's no cost to offer this as a business. We minimize any admin involved. We work with a lot of businesses, so know exactly how to apply salary sacrifice, whether it's from an HMRC perspective or payroll or anything else to do with it. And we bring that expertise to the business, and we also take away some of the risks that come with traditional leasing, such as if an employee leaves, maybe because they go on parental leave or because they go on long-term sick, we cover any of the risks associated with that for the employer. So really, there's no reason for them not to offer it for their employees. And as an employee, like I said before, you get these significant savings on the car. So it's an absolute no-brainer as an employee to get involved.
I guess it's great for the employer and employee because the employer's helping to clean up its own carbon footprint. If you're commuting to work, if you would have been commuting to work in a petrol car and now it's in an EV, then it works on both sides. So finally, really, where are you kind of looking to take this, and what sort of level is it at the moment? And is it something where you'd kind of be hoping to get lots of businesses involved in this scheme? And also, why do you think that no one's really aware of it? Because it's also something that I wasn't made aware of until you said it to me. So
yeah, it's one of those things that the government doesn't market, and so you have to find out through people like ourselves when we talk to you about it. We are looking to get as many businesses in the UK involved as possible because we think it is a great incentive and a great thing for businesses to offer for their employees. So at the moment, we've got, I think it's about 50,000 employees involved, and we'd love to get the other 10 million or so employees from small and medium businesses onto the electric car scheme as well.
Thanks so much for coming on and explaining a bit of that. If people want to find out more about what you guys are doing, where would be the best place to go?
Yeah, easiest place to go is our website, www.electriccarscheme.com. And on the website, you can find out more about the scheme, but also run an example calculation for yourself. So depending on what your tax rate is or what car you might want to choose, it works all of that out for you and gives you a good illustration of what to expect and what you can save on an electric car.